Have you ever been treated rudely by someone? I know how it feels, and it sucks when someone's being rude towards you. If you find that rude people are ruining your day, or you have to deal with them constantly, this video is here to help. Here are 5 ways to respond to rude people. 1. Be direct about it and tell them to stop. If anyone is ever making you uncomfortable, the best way to get them to stop is by being straightforward. Let the other person know what you're willing and not willing to tolerate. Without setting boundaries, they will continue being rude. It's important to know that most people aren't being rude because they are bad people. People are often rude when they're having a bad day or they're going through something in life. They're just venting their frustration on someone, and you just happen to be that unlucky person. By directly telling them to stop, they might stop and realize they're just taking out their frustration on you. If you're not sure what to say, you can just say something like, "I don't appreciate you talking to me like that." Most people don't usually get directly called out on something, and being direct will let the other person know not to mess with you. This is a great way to respond to rude people, but the only downfall is that you can't always use it when you're working in customer service. 2. Respond with kindness. You don't always need to find some savage comeback to put that rude person in their place. Sometimes, it might be family or friends being rude to you because they are having a bad day. If you want to keep that relationship, it's not a good idea to respond with negativity because you will make the relationship worse. When you respond with negativity, you might end up saying something you will regret. Instead, you want to respond with kindness and acknowledge that they're probably going through something or they're having a bad day. When you respond with kindness, they will usually realize they were being rude and apologize. They might also talk with you about what they're going through, and you can hear them out and make them feel better. If you're unsure when to respond with kindness, it's usually a good idea to respond after they said everything they wanted to say. You let them air their frustrations out and then respond. 3. Walk away. It's normal to get angry when someone is acting rude to you. You might want to flip them off or find some savage comeback. It's tempting to do just that, but you're better than that. There's no need to stoop down to their level. You can just let them know the conversation is over and walk away. This will help you keep your cool and make sure that experience won't bother you for the rest of the day. Keep your response simple and direct. There's no need to explain yourself. This is very effective because the other person won't have anyone to be rude towards anymore if you just walk away and end the conversation. If you find that rude people are constantly making you angry, I highly recommend using this response to help you keep your cool. You can also use this response on friends and family if you want to give them some time to cool off. You'll find that people will be much easier to talk to once you give them some time to calm down. 4. Call them out on their behavior. You can say something like, "Why do you always have something negative to say?" This is a great response when you're dealing with someone that is always rude or unpleasant to deal with. Most people aren't used to being called out like that. If you pull this off in a group conversation, most of the attention will be directed towards them, and people might even agree with your comments. It will force them to do some self-reflection and watch what they say in the future. Some people have a habit of being rude, and they might not even know they have that habit since they never got called out on it. By calling them out like this, you get to defend yourself, and you might even make them a better person. The only downside to this is that it can be hard to call someone out. It's going to require some courage, and you have to be prepared for them to fight back. 5. Let them know you appreciate their perspective. This is a great response to use if someone in a position of power is being rude to you. You can't exactly respond back with something rude or another comeback. You need an intelligent and calm response that shows you are not going to stoop to their level, and this kind of response does exactly that. People can be rude because they are insecure. If your manager or boss is trying to bring you down, they are probably taking something out on you. When you say you appreciate their perspective, it's going to shock them in a good way, because that's not the response they would expect. Saying this can allow for a more mature and productive conversation, because the conversation is no longer shrouded by negativity. Although it's a great response to your superiors, you can also use this for other people. It's a great way to get the negativity out of the conversation, even if you don't believe what you're saying. This video does a great job explaining how to respond to rude people, but things can be different for toxic people. These responses are still effective, but there are better ways to deal with toxic people. If you want to learn how to deal with toxic people, check out the video shown on the end screen on how to deal with toxic people.